Both the government and the military have had problems explaining this situation, but then the public servants took over on Friday in Canberra, and I thought they did a far more convincing job. Have a look at part of this.
We frankly don't give a damn about the media cycle and what's going to be said on morning radio and Q&A and all the rest of it. That for us is just the ephemeral. What matters to us is how do you successfully execute and implement a government policy as directed by the government. If you are providing a running commentary on what you're doing, where your assets are, you're giving away every single advantage that General Campbell is so concerned to preserve.
I think Mr Pezzullo has made a very good point. That is not a reality television show in real time.
He was quite convincing in the way that he put it, very forceful.
Yeah.
Well,
he was,
because in the end, voters pay on results. They mightn't like the process, they mightn't like the way the government is going about it, but if, you know, they have produced the results...
But are you even sure of that they don't like the way the government's going about it? I get the impression that the politics are running very much with the government on this issue. You have a fight with Indonesia. Whose side do you think the public will be on?
Well, I think, you know, there's a little bit of disquiet generally about that, but I think people accept that, you know, that'll kind of blow over
but
after
disquiet
a while.
because the relationship is important, and therefore, because the argument's being put on the front page of The Australian that the government's attitude is they don't really care if the relationship with Indonesia deteriorates because this issue is so important and they have to win it.
The relationship is reparable. I think the view is that, you know, the relationship will come back to a steady keel, probably after the election. And I think there is also this view that the Indonesian reaction probably wouldn't have been as antagonistic if it hadn't been for the spying allegations. I think if you put that together with the crossing over into the borders, that kind of inflamed things a bit more. The Indonesians might have been prepared to be a bit more tolerant about the transgression if it hadn't been for the other. So I think there is this view, well, we'll get this right first and then we'll fix the relationship, and that'll happen.
But the problem that Australia could face, and I think you're right, I think in terms of the Australian public, I think it's very much running the government's way. The public supports what the government's doing, and they're not that concerned about a fight with Indonesia. But we have got an election coming up. We don't even know who the front-running candidates are going to be for the presidency. And you know, as I've said before, you know, if we end up with a very nationalistic, jingoistic candidate as a front runner and potentially winning the presidency of Indonesia, then I think there'll be some fond memories of SBY, and people will say, "Oh dear, we've got a bigger problem now."
And Tori, the other aspect of this, of course, that I'm sure is winning public support, is they're able to say the boats have stopped coming. That's true to an extent, but the monsoon season is here, and apart from that, the boats haven't actually stopped coming. They're arriving,
just
they're being turned around.
Exactly.
They're not getting through.
Although, do we know they're being turned around? We're pretty sure they are, but again, there's this kind of cloak of secrecy over all of it. I was surprised to hear a poll, I think a couple of weeks ago now, that 60% of Australians want asylum seekers treated more harshly. So, I mean, that shows that, you know, the government can, to an extent, do what it likes, and if it gets the results, it's going to keep certain people on side. But it always comes back to this question of, you know, at what cost? You know, what is happening to these asylum seekers? The ABC story about the burns has kind of unravelled quite quickly, but there are other stories about mistreatment, about people being forced into these lifeboats that we've now seen the pictures of. You know, is all of that worth stopping the boats? And only the government would absolutely say yes.